Hello, lovely people who are paying attention to my channel. Today, I feel like I'm starting a book report. Today, we're talking about Amadeus from 1984. So, this movie is about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, so that's where the title comes from, I think. Amadeus means lover of God, so the title kind of has like a double meaning because this film is about a person called Salieri, who is a court composer to the Austrian emperor, and he is somebody that is quite religious and loves God and wants to make music sort of in glory of that, and he tries to sort of bargain with God in his mind, or in his prayers or whatever, to be like, I want to be able to compose and play like Mozart. And he does not have Mozart's talent. He has a lot of talent, but obviously Mozart was insanely talented. And so this film kind of focuses around that relationship. So to be a little bit more specific, Salieri has grown up dreaming of having the talent that Mozart does, but when he comes to actually meet him, Mozart is brash, foolish, and his work is amazing. So he's basically like not a nice person, not an aspirational person, but this amazing music just kind of comes out of him. And Salieri is insane with jealousy to the point of murder. So there was actually a rumor for a while that Salieri did actually kill Mozart. So it's kind of where the sort of genesis of this film. It's adapted from a play, but I'll be talking about the director's cut because that's the version that I saw. So hopefully that won't be confusing at any point. It shouldn't be, but this is like quite a popular movie. A lot of you will have seen it. So yeah, Salieri is played by F. Murray Abraham. He's in Grand Budapest Hotel, I think. Mozart is Tom Hulce. I think I'm saying that right. Hulce. He's the voice of the Hunchback in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he's also in a film called Parenthood. This film also has Elizabeth Berridge, Simon Callow, Jeffrey Jones, and it's directed by Milos Forman, who did People vs. Larry Flint and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So that's quite a mix, actually, when you think about it. Some directors are like that, aren't they? Where they're just really like diverse, or maybe they're fascinated with, I could say like all of these films have very strong, interesting, dynamic main characters who march to the beat of their own drummer. So I guess there is a connection. So I was saying that before, Salieri was a real person. He's vastly fictionalized here. There isn't a lot of evidence that he was jealous of Mozart, and yeah, it's kind of unlikely that he really killed Mozart, which I guess is a spoiler for this film, but it's history, so I guess that's okay, right? That's not a spoiler? I don't know. This film is more about personality and good story than 100% accuracy. So something I really like about this, Mozart composed beautiful music, but he did also compose very scatological and gross, I guess, lyrics to things. And he wrote really gross letters to his family. Like, that was their kind of humor that they had with each other. So this film really captures like that sense of like, I always think this when people have busts of Mozart like on their piano or in their house. It was kind of a popular thing for a while. And he was just, I think he would have been absolutely horrible in real life, personally. I don't know, but his music is amazing. And I mean, he's Mozart, you know, he could play at age 3 and all this kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, he was unafraid to just broach or joke about topics like that publicly. So yeah, I just find that interesting because this version of him, he's not stiff. It's kind of like a fairly realistic portrait, even though it's very comical. Tom Hulce kind of plays him for that foppish, boyish charm kind of thing. And yeah, I just think it's kind of appropriate. And the amazing thing in this film that is kind of like almost like a running joke throughout the film is his laugh. He has the most just like foppish, annoying laugh, and you can just see sometimes like people's faces in response to it, or like Salieri just like grinding his teeth. So I think that's kind of fun. And then juxtaposed against that is obviously Salieri, older, serious, more religious, more religious, but also Salieri starts by trying to bargain with God and being like, you know, all the glory will go to you, or like, if I have this talent. And then he just starts to be like, become more and more hateful and spiteful and destructive from that same source within himself. So I think that's just so great. Sometimes in life you meet people that have talent and they're just not very nice, and sometimes you meet people that are maybe more like worthy, but they don't have that huge talent. And it's kind of interesting, and I just think that the way he turns from pious to bitter is like so well done. Especially, it's well done in the scripting, but it's also just F. Murray Abraham's face, you know? So yeah, outside of those two, the film is lavish. It's like lush, opulent, sets and costumes are beautiful. The juxtaposition of like that kind of high art and just the lushness of people's homes, the luxury, with Hulce's foppish, petulant buffoon. It's like, it's kind of genius. He's just yeah, it's just such a great, strange thing. I think as well, you know, it's weird in real life when beautiful work comes from real repellent people, and it makes Mozart feel modern and ahead of his time compared to the people around him. So it's different, and it's clever, and it's fun to watch. Yeah, the casting of everyone is really good. I liked what's her name? The girl that plays Stanzi, which is Wolfgang's wife. That's Elizabeth Berridge. She was really good. I found her casting really just worked really well. Obviously, like Hulce versus F. Murray Abraham, as I mentioned before, like is really great. But I think the people around them are good too. I love the dark monk like Mozart is mad, Salieri is mad. They're mad at opposite ends of the scale. So yeah, I think this film kind of mixes that. Like Hulce's acting is quite modern, and it's a deliberate choice, and that's juxtaposed against this very detailed period costuming, locations, and that kind of thing. And I think it's fun when films mix the past with humor or pop culture, and it can be tough to get right, and this one works. I think it feels theatrical but also kind of real, And it was a lavish, weird time, and people were a little bit outlandish with their massive wigs, and their little shoes and stuff. I sort of think other films like that would be like A Knight's Tale or Marie Antoinette, where they mix the they sort of modernize the period time by showing the period correctly, or attempting to show it correctly, but just sort of mixing in interesting things to create a comparison to like modern life. And I think this film does that a little bit too, and I think it's a really good thing. It's not always successful, but this one is. So yeah, this film is really something. I'm not really like a musical person at all, so this film maybe resonates with musician or musical types, maybe even more than me. So for me, it was like that. The characters are kind of I just was like, where's this going? What are you gonna do next? And the humor and stuff was what got me, but I think it's kind of a bit multi-layered. Yeah, and I mean, I guess historically you kind of know where it's going, but you're not sure how it's gonna get there. So, you know, I think maybe probably not everyone knows Mozart's like life story or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's not, some people would know, you know, so it's kind of like public knowledge or whatever, but you don't know how it's going to take you to that point. Like, and I think the end where Salieri like is pushing Mozart to compose even though he's not well, and the kind of the obsessive strangeness they have with each other, and I think it's really watchable. So yeah, I enjoyed the journey. Yeah, and the costumes really good, and the two leads. That's kind of what it always comes down to for me with this film. I wouldn't say this is going to be like a new all-time favorite of mine, but I definitely recommend giving it a watch. As I said, I watched the director's cut because that's the copy that I had. So I don't know if you know, the non-director's cut is like a better version or not. I don't know, but I definitely recommend. It's a good Sunday afternoon watch. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be sharing another film with you again soon.